Well, welcome to this month's vlog. We're in May now, and this video is going to be made up of footage from a few very short sessions that I've done this month, literally overnighters. Been very limited for time, as usual. Been sort of busy sorting my house out, even still, you know, after the builder has been in. Basically ended up redecorating the whole place, so it's just taken forever. But we've got another overnighter ahead of us, and I thought I would make this video about short sessions and how I go about sort of getting the most out of limited time, and you know, getting as many chances as I can in a short session to hopefully put a couple of fish on the bank. Just got a helicopter coming over, so apologies if the sound's not very good. And also, I'm filming this on my phone because as I've arrived and started bringing my gear around, I've come past the island here, and I've seen some fizzing and a little swirl near the surface, so obvious signs of feeding fish there. And that's my first point really about short sessions. You know, open your eyes, look for feeding fish, and if you can, you know, capitalise on these opportunities, you can put a few fish together in very limited time. It's not all about, you know, piling in the bait and just waiting for the fish to come to you. So yeah, this session's going to be a little bit about that, and there's a few captures to show you from a couple of previous sessions. I've had a couple of nice fish this month, so you know, it'd be nice to show you those. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get one, or at least one, on this session. But you know, you never know really. So I've just got, at the moment, got one rod down here, just fishing over to the island where I saw some fizzing when I got here, and just going to give that literally an hour fishing a single Richworth pineapple pop-up on a withy rig just over to the island there, where I've seen fizzing, and yeah, just hoping for the best really. I chose a pop-up because there's kind of weed all over this lake, and although it looks relatively clear around there, there's always little clumps and stuff on the bottom, so hopefully it kind of fishes better over that than a bottom bait would. And also because I'm fishing a single hook bait, I want it to sort of stand out to the fish a little bit and be sort of up off the bottom and in the face a bit, so you know, it's still spring and the fish are sort of looking for food, and any bright visual bait can sometimes catch their eye. So there's another sort of short session tip if you want to fish single hook baits, you know, a pop-up and something bright. I know you've probably seen that 1,000 times in the magazines, but it does work. So definitely worth putting that into fishing if you don't have a lot of time. But even on longer sessions, you know, I'll fish pop-ups until kind of the middle of summer really, when the fish have been battered on them, and then probably switch to a snowman or something like that. But yeah, we've only been here half an hour or so. I've not got any gear set up or anything, not got my camera out, so that's why we're filming on my phone. So sorry it's a bit, you know, all over the place. Hope that doesn't make you feel sick. But yeah, we're going to give it half an hour here, and then I'll go set up properly, and I'll catch you later. All right, cheers. Well, here we are. I think it's my fourth video now. This is my May vlog. As I said earlier, when I was trying my luck by the island, this is sort of a compilation of a few fish that I've caught this month, and this session, which is just a quick overnighter. That's all I've really fished this month due to limited time.
So yeah, I'm going to make this one about short sessions and how you can sort of maximise your chances on these sessions. So we're all set up now. Look, we're in the swim, we've got the bivvy up, a couple of rods there, and I've got another rod a bit further down with a net, like a spare net with it as well. So fishing a couple of spots that I know. You can't really get 3 rods in one swim here very well because so much weed, you know, it's limited the water that you can actually fish. So sort of spread myself over 2 swims. There's no one else on the lake tonight, so not going to be anyone else off, obviously. Yeah, I like to be considerate if there's other people about, but yeah, no, it's fine having 2 swims. And generally this lake, actually, you only really have one person here and one person at the other end. So I've come down this end of the lake, slightly weirdly away from where I've seen fish showing near the island. I saw a couple actually stick their head and shoulders out, and they look like very small fish, sort of, you know, mid doubles, low doubles. Sometimes I find if there's a few of those around, the bigger ones tend to be sort of away from it. They don't like too much, you know, too many small fish bothering them. Big ones tend to be sort of a bit more solitary. And actually the big fully that I really dearly want to catch out of here has been caught out of this swim at the far end of the lake. I think every time it's been caught from here. So as far as I know anyway. So yeah, if I'm targeting that fish, I'm gonna maybe concentrate my efforts down this end. And to be fair, I've seen a couple of fish show here and a bit of fizzing in open water as well. So yeah, I'm not far away from the fish, and it's actually a relatively small lake. I've shown it before, but you know, it goes down that way, sort of 150 to 200 yards or something like that, and it's, you know, it's a couple of acres in total. It's probably only 50-60 yards wide, but it's lovely now. Everything's gone green. Everything's sort of overgrowing around the far side of the lake. It's quite hard to walk up and down, and it's all natural, you know. I quite like that. It's very weedy. I don't know if you can see out here. Let me see if I can show you. Particularly up this end, look, you've got weed kind of extensively all the way around here, and out in the open water, sort of up this way, just pretty much up over here, literally just solid weed. And yeah, you just got to fish in between it really, and make sure you're sort of locked up so the fish can't get too far into it. I'll take you for a little walk just so you can see. So yeah, this is my swim here. I've got a couple of rods down there, bivvy set up there, and yeah, go down this way, and yeah, look, you can see my other rods just here, just set up there, and yeah, I'll show you the open water, how much weed we've got. Hopefully you can see, but basically that's weed all the way across, just with a few sort of clear spots in between. So yeah, you've got to be accurate with your casting and feel the lead down, make sure it's on a fairly clear spot. It's another point about these short sessions, you know, your presentation's got to be bang on. You've got to be absolutely sure that where your rig's landing is presentable, and you know, you don't want to be sort of doubting yourself when you're only here for a few hours. You want to really sort of maximise every bit of your rig, make sure you get it to be not tangled, and make sure, you know, it's actually hit the bottom, because sometimes on here, if you're hitting the weed, you know, you're not even touching the bottom, and fish aren't going to find it if you've scattered freebies around on the bottom, you know. So yeah, that's another important point, is you know, presentation, make sure it's spot on. Location again is a big thing, although on a smaller lake like this it's a bit less important because they are sort of spread out, and I've seen fish all up and down the lake when I've got here. So to be fair, I'm not that bothered about location. I'm actually just targeting this end of the lake because the fish that I want sort of lives here, it seems. So yeah, but we've only got the night. I think we started about, I don't know, 5-6 o'clock, and what is it, about 7:30, 8 o'clock now. We're going to probably leave sort of mid-morning or something like that, so you know, it's not a very long session, but I've still got loads of stuff to do at home, so I'm just sort of
making the most of these short windows of time that I've got. Yeah, so not much else I can tell you at the moment. You know, just hoping something's going to slip up tonight, or maybe in the morning. Last couple of sessions I've been down, I've been lucky enough to catch a couple of really nice fish. So without further ado, I'll let you see that footage now, and then I'll catch you up a little bit later on. There you go. Lovely 16 pound common. I think it was 16 pounds 6 ounces or something like that. Caught on my normal Escort pop-up, this time on a hinge stiff rig, unusually for me. Pretty limited for time getting ready for this session, and actually whilst I'm here, so I didn't have many of my normal withy pool rigs tied up, but I did have some chod sections tied up on one of the little Gardner sort of chod bins. So I used the upright section of a chod rig and just added a boom to it, and there's your hinge stiff rig sort of thing. So yeah, I put that one out. Quite a long boom because it's pretty weedy. I wanted it to sort of have a bit of flexibility to settle over the weed. So yeah, I sort of found a clear spot in the weed. I'd seen a fish patrolling there earlier on. Fired a few boilies out around it just to sort of gently move the fish away, and then just underarmed my hinge stiff rig in amongst my freebies, and that was it. I left that, and it's just gone now. So yeah, bit of a interesting battle with the weed. It sort of went straight into a weed bed and locked up solid, and I had to sort of be patient and let it swim out, and it gave a few kicks and went out, you know, free again, only to go into another weed bed. Yeah, a bit of toing and throwing, and we finally got it in the net, so happy with that. Nice to get one on a short overnight session, only doing sort of 12 hours on this session overnight, so well happy not to have blanked. It's been a while since I've managed to fish, so it's been worth coming. So yeah, there you go, well happy with that one. Well, been fishing a couple of hours on this session, and I was just having my first coffee after getting all the rods out and everything, and there was a coot diving on my spot, and I had a couple of bleeps, and I thought, oh, the coot's picked me up, and then the rod tip started bending round, so I had a look, and there was a big swirl down there in the hole in the weed that I'm fishing, and this fish was the culprit. It's pretty lively. It's been sat in the net in the water for 5 minutes whilst I got everything ready, so I'll give him a second to calm down. But yeah, 32 pound on the nose. There we go. Oh. Like I said, he's pretty lively. There we go. 32 pound mirror on an overnighter. It just shows you, if you get your short session tactics right, you can be catching fish like these. He doesn't want to stop flapping. I'll try and get him up for you. There we go. 32 pound exactly. Caught on a Richworth white nectar pop-up, fished over a scattering of Escort to a hole in the weed. And yeah, the fight was pretty mental. He went straight in the weed and locked up for 20 minutes or so. I had to put the rod back on the rest, but we got him in the end. I'm well happy with that. Still got the night to go, so let's see what the night brings, eh? Lost for words. Well guys, wait till you see this one. Pretty stunning. Yeah, I was literally packing up. I had one rod left in the water. I've just wound in the second rod. I was just putting it away, and the left hand rod, which is the same rod that went yesterday evening, let out a few bleeps. I turned around, the rod tip was bent right round. There's a big swirl again, big vortex on the surface, and the fish was quite far behind where the spot was, so I knew it had sort of somehow made it to the weed already. But anyway, after a lot of toing and froing in and out of the weed, as seems to be the way at the moment, I managed to land this gorgeous 23.5 pound common. Yeah, absolutely stunning. If he behaves himself, hopefully I can get him up so you can have a look. There we go. Dark as you like. Well happy with this one. They don't come much better looking than that, do they? It's 23.5 pound. This time on a white S-core pop-up over a scattering of S-core again, just to the hole in the weed. And yeah, it's just about to go home, so this has made the drive home seem a lot more appealing. So we're coming into the evening now, and nothing's happened really. I've seen the odd sign of fish, a bit of fizzing here and there, but you know, this lake is quite natural, quite silty, and that fizzing could quite easily just be the natural gases escaping from the bottom of the lake. There's also a lot of natural food in this lake. Particularly at the moment, there's loads of tiny fish fry, little eyelashes I call them, and they're sort of, you know, grubbing around the bottom, and there's water boatmen and all sorts of beetles. I've seen dragonfly larvae and everything, and you just never know really what's stirring up the bottom, but could potentially be fish. I'm just thinking about having dinner in a minute. Got a tinned curry again, which is oh, fish shout just then. Yeah, tinned curry, which is my go-to for short sessions really. That is a bit of a tip for short sessions. Just eat easy food, you know, you're not here for luxury, you just want to catch some fish, and cooking should be bottom of your list of things that you need to be doing. So yeah, I've got boiling the bag rice and tinned curry, so it's like a 10-minute job to cook, and I can concentrate on watching the water, and hopefully move on to some feeding fish at some point throughout the session. Yeah, so it's just sort of starting to lose light slightly now, coming into the evening, and it's really quiet. The weather's been quite hot for a couple of weeks now. We've had sort of over 20 degrees for a few days, and then suddenly today we've had a bit of rain. It's been overcast, and yeah, it's a bit of a change really, and I'm hoping that's going to make the fish come into action and have a feed, but you never know. I mean, I caught last week when it was hot, so this sort of overcast weather might knock it on the head. There's not really any wind, which makes me nervous. I do quite like a bit of wind to just be trickling on the surface. Just seem to always do better when I get those conditions, but there's always a chance while the rods are in the water. Yeah, I've actually got some exciting news for you, something that's coming up in the next vlog, so if you stay tuned till a bit later on in the video, I'll let you know what's going on there. But yeah, I've got quite an exciting trip planned for next month, so yeah, I'll let you know about that a bit later on, but not much else I can tell you at the moment. It's stopped raining, which is nice, and I'm seeing fish show, so they're sort of, yeah, they this time of the evening, you know, they do start showing, and actually it was about this time when I caught my 32 pounder, which I showed you just a minute ago. So yeah, there's always a chance, but I've not really seen many fish in the area of the rods, so we'll just have to wait and see really. I've got the night, so we'll see what that brings, but yeah, I'm going to crack on with cooking dinner now, and I'll speak to you shortly.
little update for you. Nothing's happened, don't get excited. But yeah, the fish have continued sort of being active. I've seen a bit of activity, you know, sort of fish rolling and bit of fizzing here and there. So they're definitely having a little mooch around and a little bit of a feed, but there's an awful lot of natural in the lake, as I think I said earlier, and they could easily just be feeding on that. So whether they will get on the bait or not, I don't know. There could also be people baiting up this time of year, and I'm competing with that. So I don't know whether they're going to get on the bait or not. It's sort of a lot harder to pinpoint where to fish this week than last week. The fish were sort of quite clear, cruising around the top and then sort of dipping down last week, whereas this week I've only seen the odd bit of bubbling and swirls, you know, and the water's a lot more clouded up, so they're harder to spot. But you know, got to make my excuses early. But you know, I've had a few fish this month, so I'm fairly happy, and you know, I've still got the rest of the night to go. But I was just thinking of going to bed in a bit, so I thought I'd update you. I had my dinner now, as I said, that nice tin curry, Sainsbury's chicken balti. It was actually really nice, you know, and like I said, very quick and easy to cook, so no messing around. Yeah, the thing I wanted to tell you earlier on, I said there's some exciting news. I'm actually going to the mainland next month to do some filming with Richworth. A lot of you will know by now my association with Richworth. I'm part of the UK team, and they want to do a video with me and a couple of other guys. So we're going to go 48 hours fishing on the mainland next month, and yeah, very happy and excited to be part of that. So I'm going to try and film my own video as part of that session. Hopefully, you know, a decent sort of hour-long video of how that's going, how that goes. Sorry. And then also the video, the Richworth video, you'll probably see through their, you know, YouTube and social media sites. So yeah, we're going to be busy. I think plenty of filming to be done. But going to a lake in the New Forest, and it's quite prolific apparently. So hopefully we'll have a few fish to show you, and we're going to test out some baits against each other. You know, Richworth baits, obviously, but put some bait. Each fish is going to fish a different bait, I think, and see who does the best. So, you know, we'll see, I guess. I'm obviously going to be using S-Core because that's my go-to. One of the other guys is on Esterberry and another guy's on Tootie. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've not actually seen the Esterberry before, so it'd be interesting to have a look at that when we meet up. And well, the Tootie's obviously a winner that seems to do really well in the winter, and you know, all through the year really. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how S-Core goes against those baits. And yeah, this lake's got some big cats in it, and you know, plenty of carp up to sort of low 30s, I think, and lots of sort of upper doubles and low 20s to go at. So yeah, that'd be exciting. It's nice to get off the Isle of Wight. You know, I only ever really fish here, so nice to be going to the mainland and having a couple of days away, and you know, a bit of a rest from the real life as well. Sort of, you know, like I always say, I'm very busy and things. So yeah, it'd be nice to get fishing for a couple of days and just yeah, do nothing but fish and film it for you guys really. So excited to show you that when it happens. Hopefully get a decent video out of it, and a really good one for Richworth as well at the same time. So yeah, so keep an eye on the channel for that, and yeah, make sure you subscribe as well, because then you'll be notified when I release my video. And you know, if you follow the Richworth Facebook page, if you go and like that page, then they'll obviously post the video, a link on there once it's been edited as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, guys. So yeah, as far as this session goes, we're coming into the night. It's pretty dark outside, So I'm filming in the bivvy, as you can see, and yeah, I'm probably going to turn in a minute. I might watch a couple of the other guys' vlogs that are out there. Quite enjoying Bivvy Rats at the moment. I don't know if you've seen that one, and guy Jay Taylor's doing the bank time as well. Been enjoying his videos since he started doing them. I think he used to do videos a few years ago and he's just getting back into it, so yeah, watch out for those as well if you're looking for some decent videos to watch. So yeah, I'll probably update you if anything happens. Obviously show you a fish if I catch one, but if not, I guess I'll see you in the morning. Well, morning. It's proper early o'clock. It's about 4:30. I actually awoke to a fish boshing out in front of me. I put my shoes on, you know, I was sort of like, well, once I'm awake at that time in the morning, it's hard to get back to sleep. So yeah, put my boots back on and just been sort of watching the water really. It's lovely atmospheric sort of morning, as you can see. Oh, little liner there on this single rod that you can see. So I don't know if you heard that, but could be a good sign. I just chucked out 10 or so more Escort freebies over the area just to sort of freshen up the smell. And yeah, I just had a liner, so yeah. It'd be nice if that rod ripped off while I'm talking to you. But nothing to report through the night. I did sort of hear crashing. It's hard to sort of pinpoint where they were, but they were definitely sort of down my end. I think it was, you know, quite cold and they moved down this end. It's a bit deeper this way. There's no wind or anything for them to follow, so they're sort of just dictated by depth of water really, and I guess air pressure. The pressure did drop slightly, although only by sort of 3 or 4 millibars, but it's enough to sort of hopefully drop them down for a feed, so you just never know. But yeah, an important point to make, back on the subject of short session success really, is to you know, watch the water and get up early, as I have done this morning. You know, there's no point sleeping if you're only here for 12 hours and 8 hours of that is sleeping. You know, you kind of you're only fishing for 4 hours really, and you know, you might see something give itself away that could, you know, maybe not help you catch on this session, but you know, give you some pointers to where the fish might be hanging out for your next session. Or even, you know, if you see a fish show, you could cast to it and snag a fish. So yeah, always watch the water and get up early. Try not to sleep if you can help it. And I find that sort of quite often helps you build up a picture of where the fish are going to be, you know, at certain times. There's literally no point kind of spending your time in your bivvy either. You know, you want to be sort of looking around, walking up and down, and if you see something, you know, you can act on it. So yeah, that's something worth thinking about. But yeah, it's a beautiful morning down here. Quite sort of misty and foggy, so there's not a lot of wind and sort of warmish, so you get that sort of moisture rising. I don't think it's actually properly foggy, it's just kind of like the morning mist, but it makes it look lovely, and part of what carp fishing's all about, I think. The early mornings, I absolutely love it. So I'm going to whack the kettle on and have a coffee, try and wake up a little bit, and then hopefully next time I speak to you it'll be with a fish. Right, a little update for you guys. I've actually managed to catch one. Well, hey, yeah, it's a quiet night, as I said earlier, and not that much happening, although there were a few fish showing, and a bit of fizzing here and there. And out the blue, my rod fished in the next swim down has let out a few bleeps, and ran to it, managed to fall over, and landed a fish. So yeah, I'll get that out for you in a second, and we'll have a look. I'm well happy to have caught another one. It's a common again, which actually isn't that common for this lake, if you excuse the pun. There's not that many commons to get caught, but I've had 3 in the last 3 sessions, so yeah, not sure why that is. Must be the time of year they're just feeding. They've spawned a couple of weeks ago, so perhaps they're just feeding up again after that. So yeah, well happy to have got one. Not an absolute monster, but it's a fish and it's absolutely stunning. So yeah, well happy with that, and nice not to have blanked. I was beginning to think it was going to be a blank. So yeah, we'll skip to that footage now, and you can have a look at that fish. Well, I was just starting to think that this session was going to be a blank, and made myself a bacon sandwich, and my rod that's fished to a hole in the weed has ripped off with this nice upper double common, so well happy with that. Managed to fall over as I was running to the rod, and the fish got in the weed, and I had to call the owner to get the boat for me, and after a bit of messing about pulling the weed off the fish, managed to get it in, so well happy not to have blanked. It was caught on an S-core pop-up over a scattering of S-core as usual, and yeah, that's made my day. Right guys, so we're coming to the end of this session now. I'm going to start packing up in a minute. As I said earlier, this video is going to be about short session success. Hopefully, as you've been watching this video, you've picked up a few tips along the way, but I just thought I'd recap and maybe add to the tips that I'd already said. Obviously, first thing is location. It's the most important thing really. When I got here, as you saw, there were fish fizzing around near the island, so I didn't waste any time getting a rod on that, but unfortunately it didn't pay off. And then kind of stupidly went down the other end hoping that I'd catch the big fully, because that's where it tends to hang out, and ended up with a very quiet night of fishing, although I have just managed one this morning, so I think I was quite lucky there to not blank. Maybe next time I should have gone, you know, stayed near the island where I've seen more fish. So yeah, that's something that I'll take on board myself for next session. Another point is your presentation, so make sure on a short session especially that everything's perfect. You know, your hook's sharp, your rigs are nice and steamed straight so they kick away. Either use a foam nugget or a PVA bag or stick or something. Make sure you're not hung up in the weed, and feel the lead down. So it's so important to get your presentation right when you're only fishing for a few hours. If you're not, you know, if you're not fishing effectively, you might as well not be here. So that's the next point. Watching the water, I think I said earlier, you know, don't spend all your time in your bivvy kind of sleeping and eating food. It's very easy to do that, and actually on a long session, you know, you might want to chill out, but for me a short session is about quick hit, sort of trying to catch a fish and then go home, and I can sort of relax while I'm at home. You know, a lot of people go fishing to relax, but I think fishing's about catching fish. So yeah, I tend not to sleep too much on overnighters, and watch the water at all times. Another point is be prepared to move. You know, you're in here for a short time. If the fish are down the other end of the lake, there's kind of no point staying where you are because you haven't got time to wait for them. Unfortunately, this morning a guy's turned up to fish the other swim down the other end, so I wouldn't have been able to move anyway. And I've been lucky enough to catch one this morning, so I probably will stay in here for the last hour or so. But you know, if there was no one here and I'd seen fizzing down the other end, I probably would have spent the last hour down there. And it's actually on the way back to the car anyway, so less far to walk. Yeah, my final point is use a bait that you're confident in. I've obviously used the S-Core for a long time now and caught plenty of fish on it. And I'm sure you've seen that on social media and you know, previous videos, etc. It does work, so I won't be changing anytime soon. I'm sure there's plenty of other short session points. I mean, being prepared is another one. Make sure you have lots of rigs tied up. I actually tied up 10 Withy Pool rigs the other day because last time I was down here I sort of didn't have any time and I had to sort of make rigs on the fly sort of thing. Ended up catching a fish on a stiff hinge rig, which I don't normally use, but I'd had a chod section tied up, so I just added a boom to it. But yeah, normally I'd like to have a load of rigs tied up, so this session I actually did tie up 10 Withy Pool rigs, so I knew I could, you know, have plenty to go, and I always have a rig set up with a bait on it, so when I catch a fish I can detach the rig, leave the fish in the net, reattach a new rig and get it out again before I do all the pictures and everything, because I think, you know, you're maximising your time that way. I'm sure there'll be other tips that I could think of, but you know, these are off the top of my head, and you know, it's hard to think on the fly. But yeah, coming to the end of the session, as I said, well happy to have caught one. It's nice to keep catching every time you come. Makes it all the more enjoyable and makes you look forward to the next session, and you can build on what you've learned, you know. So yeah, we're going to start slowly packing down. I'll probably have another coffee or something before I actually do pack down. And if I catch a fish, obviously I'll speak to you. But if not, then keep an eye on the channel. As I said earlier, I'm going to be going to the mainland next month and filming with Richworth, so there's going to be an actual Richworth video coming out, featuring my good self and a couple of other guys on the team, and also I'm going to be doing my own video of that session as well, and I'm told it's quite prolific, so there should be plenty of fish to show you, but you know, you can't always guarantee catching, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification icon so you're sort of notified next time I upload a video, and yeah, hopefully the next video will be the session on the mainland that I've talked about, and it'd be nice to have a change of scenery because I've just been down at this lake quite a lot, and yeah, it'd be nice for me and nice for you guys to see somewhere different for a change. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it as always, and keep looking out for the next video to come. Cheers guys.